Hi guys, I had a in the morning when I woke up and I checked my channel. I had a how would you say, a comment or response from AJS, and they were wanting to talk. Well, they were bringing up the order versus chaos. They just said order versus chaos with this whole debacle, this whole PR stunt of Meghan and Harry and the narrative, and they didn't really specify other than that. I think they asked me a question, but it got me thinking. And many people, even that follow me and follow my work, are still very, very brainwashed and believe that Meghan Markle is a narcissist and that she's went rogue. And even despite how much I have given you, how much information and proof I've given you, still believe that this is who Meghan Markle is. Or maybe they just wish to believe it because they need to believe it. So I wanted to break down just kind of like in a couple of videos in simple terms, in a clear and real definitive explanation and elaboration. I want to explain both in a detailed way and in a simplified way. I want to explain to you why things are the way they are, like why Meghan and why would Meghan Markle and Harry sacrifice themselves? Why with the order and the chaos? Like, how does it work? Oh, like, why would the royal family be powerful? They're not really. They've never been powerful. There must be somebody else that's higher than them, etc., etc. Like, why? What is their part to play in all this, or is there a big part to play in this globalist regime, other than obviously imperial regime? Where, how can I believe that they've got the power and stuff like that, and still people don't understand the strategy and what's taken place. So I'm going to break down. This is the first video I'm going to do, and this is about the order versus chaos. The order being in the traditionalism and the righteous and divine William and Kate, or William and Catherine, and Charles, of course, and then the chaos in Harry and Meghan. And believe me, that's not to say that there won't be redemption and there won't be the redemption narrative of Harry. Harry will definitely be coming back into the fold because this is a created narrative. And with that, it's irrespective of him coming back into the fold and him getting that redemption narrative play out. No matter that, or no matter even if you think that he's lost and William's won, or vice versa, or whatever the hell you think, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because in the end, what's been solidified is that the monarchy is now a modernized, globalized monarchy, all thanks to Meghan Markle and Harry and this bullshit narrative. So that's how you need to think about that. So let's get into this order versus chaos kind of PR narrative so you can really understand what you've seen and try to separate yourself, your perception from the brainwashing. Okay. So this is the long explanation, and then I'll provide a smaller, simple summary of it. Here we go. The media's framing of Prince William and Catherine as forces of order and Prince Harry and Meghan as agents of chaos is emblematic of a deliberate dialectical deception. I've done a video on that. You can look down in my videos and you can see the good cop versus bad cop dialectical deception of Harry and William, And then I've elaborated later on about the Harry and William versus Meghan dialectic deception. A sophisticated public relations strategy designed to obscure the monarchy's evolving role in a rapidly globalizing world. This binary opposition captures public imagination while concealing a deeper, unified agenda, the monarchy's strategic transformation into a political and symbolic vehicle for global governance, in alignment with the frameworks such as Agenda 2030. On the surface, William and Catherine represent continuity, custodians of heritage, tradition, and the constitutional status quo. They also represent the empire and the continuity of the empire, which is very, very important symbolically. It's been put through with even the mythology of King Arthur, which is representative of England, and when the rule of the Holy Roman Empire was passed down to the Anglo-Saxon British Empire. Their image is rooted in duty, restraint, and the sacrosanct authority of monarchy, echoing ancient symbols such as the crown and the sword of the Holy Roman Empire, as I just said. In contrast, Harry and Meghan perform the role of disruptive outsiders, cosmopolitan, progressive, and unbound by tradition. Meghan in particular is portrayed as irreverent and incompatible with royal decorum, thus necessitating a counter-narrative to mitigate her global influence. Therefore, everything that's negative about Meghan in the media and PR is intentional. This dichotomy, order versus chaos, tradition versus progressivism, is a contrived spectacle. Both couples, ostensibly at odds, are in fact engaged in a coordinated global strategy. They are not merely figures within a royal soap opera, but actors in a broader geopolitical reconfiguration. Each plays a complementary role in dismantling the traditional constitutional framework of the British monarchy, replacing it with a modernized, internationalist image suited to the 21st century soft power diplomacy. That's why even something as shallow and as pathetic and as irrelevant and unnecessary as the as ever business operation is so important to keep afloat, even when somebody exposes it as illegal and a red flag, just an absolute shell of an operation and fraud, because it breaches the constitutional role and rules of the monarchy. But they've been doing that since this Megxit narrative has been rolled out. Meghan and Harry are still the monarchy. And so the fact that they're commercializing in America and have been allowed to do so, that's because of Megxit. And that's only because of Megxit. And everyone's normalized it and accepted it. And it opens up a gateway for the rest of the monarchy to follow suit, even though it is against the constitutional agreement that they have with the entire Commonwealth and the realm that they serve. This evolution aligns with the objectives of Agenda 2030, a global initiative that emphasizes sustainable development, transnational governance, and the reconfiguration of national sovereignties in favor of supranational cooperation. And supranational means a power or a system that can make decisions beyond nations, that it's a larger national organization, a supranational organization like the EU, like the UN, and like the British Empire. In this context, both couples function as political global statesmen, using their cultural capital, media platforms, and philanthropic ventures to advance a vision of monarchy that transcends national borders. And you see that even in Sophie going to Ukraine and chilling out with Zelensky and his wife and doing that Freemason handshake. I mean, that's unheard of. Or William chilling out in Paris, chilling with Macron and catching up with Trump. Unheard of. I didn't even know that's... I honestly had to question whether that was lawful, the fact that a British prince could go to France. France allowed them to have a political discussion in France between the USA and the UK. I just couldn't believe it. Even now, I can't believe it. But if you think of it in terms of an imperial or an empire, that the prince is helping rule, then you can understand it. They speak not merely to the British people, but to a global audience, reframing royalty as a diplomatic and humanitarian brand. The traditional constitutional monarchy, once defined by political neutrality and domestic focus, is thus quietly supplanted by transnational royalism. This rebranded monarchy functions as an elite soft power network, aligning itself with international agendas under the guise of charity, advocacy, and moral leadership, like Archwell. The dialectical, like Archwell, Earthshot, and Travelist. The dialectical conflict between the couples is therefore not a genuine rupture, but a sophisticated misdirection, while the public becomes absorbed in the narrative of familial strife. The institution itself consolidates its global position, preserving its relevance not through tradition alone, but through transformation. In doing so, it transcends its national limits and positions itself as a stakeholder in the emerging global order, because it is the stakeholder. Now, when I talked to you in that video about dialectical deception, what it is, you can think of it as a pyramid or a triangle of 3 points. The 2 points below that's hitting the lowest part of the triangle, you can think one is Harry and Meghan, and the other is adjacent to them is William and Catherine. And there's a fight between the two. Almost exactly like a war, like an artificial war. Wink, wink. And the main power up the top is the monarchy, is King Charles. And the strategy is right up there with King Charles of globalizing and modernizing this monarchy to align with Agenda 2030 and the restructure of the empire, the global restructure and expansion of the empire with its controls and its privatization of natural assets. You've got that up the top with the UN, with everything you ever know about this whole entire system that I've discussed with you earlier. That's up the top. And then you've got this fight down the bottom. And you're blinded by the top you can't see the top, and you've got just these 2 points down the bottoms. That doesn't make a full triangle. You've just got these 2 points of Harry and Meghan versus William and Catherine. And that's what's happening. It's intentional. It's by design. That is what dialectical deception is. You're not meant to pay attention to the higher power or to the bigger, larger system that is playing you like everything else. You're meant to be focusing on this battle as much as all these other battles and psyops do the same. The saturation of global media with the perceived chaos surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle serves a strategic function within the broader public relations architecture of the monarchy. By foregrounding conflict, grievance, and controversy, often amplified through interviews, documentaries, and tabloid speculation, the media cultivates a climate of intrigue and emotional polarization. This environment becomes fertile ground for the reintroduction of Prince William, Catherine, and their children as symbols of stability, hope, and continuity. Have you realized within the last month just how much William and Catherine are just not just idolized? It is almost, well, it is sickening with the controlled opposition accounts on social media about how adored William and Catherine are, to the point of just like not just idolization and adulation, but like it's like a perfection that they can only resemble and represent, and it's so artificial and it's so sickening and in your face. I mean, I've shown you pictures here and I'll probably show you here again, but it is just weird and creepy. Really, really, really creepy. But it's all by design. And then you've got now the kids like, I think Louis, and I've seen Louis of late, and I've seen Charlotte of late for her birthday. And they've even Hello Magazine has been putting up, they've got received permission to put up photos of Charlotte on her 10th birthday in their magazine covers. Like it's insane. But that's now the reintroduction that we're being faced with. This dynamic achieves several key outcomes. 1. Manufacturing crisis and redemption. The continual focus on Harry and Meghan's personal disputes, grievances with the royal institution, and allegations of racism or mistreatment functions as a form of media-managed crisis. In response, the re-emergence of William and Catherine, particularly through curated magazine covers, state appearances, and family-focused imagery, positions them as the moral and constitutional saviours of the monarchy. Their children, notably Prince George as a future heir, are presented as emblems of a secure and purified future. Image reset through contrast. The juxtaposition of perceived chaos, Harry and Meghan, with idealized order, William and Catherine, allows the monarchy to reset its public image without direct institutional reform. Rather than engaging with the structural critiques raised by Harry and Meghan, the Crown instead offers an emotional alternative. A young, photogenic, and seemingly scandal-free family whose very presence evokes reassurance. Which is so funny, because the reassurance while they're manufacturing all this harm, creating all this harm towards us, is insane. It is just so inhumane, so unfathomable, so incomprehensible. And yet that is what is happening. It is pure evil. Media covers, particularly those showing family unity or royal milestones, become visual metaphors for the restoration of balance and tradition. Number 3, strategic distraction and narrative control. By overloading the media with the soap opera quality of Harry and Meghan's life outside of the monarchy, attention is diverted from critical examination of the monarchy's structural role, financial transparency, or evolving political influence. In the emotional fog of royal drama, the institution retains control of the overarching narrative, allowing William and Catherine to emerge not merely as heirs, but as reformers and redeemers, without ever challenging the core power dynamics of the monarchy. Number 4, transitional legitimacy. The public's attention is gently shifted from Queen Elizabeth II's legacy to the next generation of royal leadership. William and Catherine's image as calm, composed, and family-oriented creates the perception of an unbroken lineage of legitimacy. Their children, frequently featured in carefully staged media, function as symbols of dynastic renewal, ensuring that the royal brand remains both relevant and emotionally resonant across global audiences. Relevance has been the greatest concern of the royal family, especially when this system is being globalized the way it is with Agenda 2030. They have needed to stay relevant, and they need to move with the agenda and the restructure. It is amazing just how much power one has to craft such a brand and such an image globally without any issue. In essence, the chaos is a stage-managed contrast, a form of narrative theatre that allows the monarchy to modernize its image while maintaining its essential structure. By structuring the media with turmoil and then offering serenity in the form of William, Catherine, and their children, the monarchy performs its own redemption arc, one that reinforces its place not just in Britain, but on the world stage. From domestic royals to global figures, and this is number 5. While their public roles appear to diverge, William as the dutiful heir within their UK establishment, Harry as a transatlantic reformer, both princes function within the same paradiplomatic framework. They engage with multinational institutions, global corporations, and civil society actors operating outside traditional diplomatic channels, yet influencing policy discourse and public values. William, through the Earthshot Prize, engages directly with international business, tech, and environmental actors to promote climate innovation. It is structured like a global venture competition, legitimizing private sector-led solutions to climate change. Harry, via Travelist, promotes a sustainable tourism metrics that align with carbon transparency and ESG, environmental social governance standards, tools increasingly adopted by global institutions and aligned with Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. Agenda 2030 as framework, Earthshot, and Travelist as instruments. Number 6. The UN's Agenda 2030 outlines 17 Sustainable Development Goals, ranging from climate action and gender equality to economic reform and data governance. Initiatives like Earthshot and Travelist operate as soft power arms of this agenda, facilitating the commercialization and cultural acceptance of sustainability metrics, AI-led environmental monitoring, and behavioural change frameworks. Earthshot supports projects that dovetail with Sustainable Development Goals 13, Climate Action, and SDG 9, Industry, Innovation, Infrastructure, while forging public-private partnerships. Travelist contributes to SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, by embedding sustainability into global travel economies. Their royal status grants these initiatives a layer of moral authority, much like the Pope and World Economic Forum's agenda, or shall we say the Club of Rome's agenda, making it easier for corporations, governments, and NGOs to integrate Agenda 2030 aligned reforms under the guise of philanthropy or innovation. Number 7, normalizing a post-national royal diplomacy. By operating on a global stage with initiatives that are stateless yet political, Harry and William embody a rebranded monarchy, one no longer confined to the constitutional limits of the United Kingdom. Their actions model a post-national royal diplomacy, where royalty is repositioned as a cultural intermediary between global governance structures and the general public. They have become the spirit and the sword of the Holy Roman Empire. This shift helps legitimize supranational policy mechanisms such as ESG investing, carbon credit systems, and AI-driven environmental surveillance as part of an ethical and inevitable future. The conclusion here is the outcome is not the breakdown of monarchy, but its transformation. Harry and William, despite their personal differences, converge in function. They are both public-facing agents of Agenda 2030's global restructuring. Through Earthshot and Travelist, they render these sweeping, often technocratic reforms culturally acceptable and commercially attractive. In doing so, they normalize the integration of royalty into the machinery of global governance, ensuring the Crown's symbolic and strategic relevance in the emerging world order. Harry and William converge in function. They are one. They are the same. They are interdependent and interrelated. So when you talk about win or lose, when you talk about sacrifice or costs or reputation damage, that is not true. That's not true whatsoever. You are brainwashed into believing this narrative that's taken place. Here is a simplified summary of everything I've just said, just to say it in a different way and with a different angle that could help others as well. Royal dialectical deception, chaos versus order. The media's portrayal of William and Catherine as order and Harry and Meghan as chaos is not just royal drama, it's a strategic dialectic masking the monarchy's global transformation. On the surface, William and Catherine equal tradition, duty, and restraint. Harry and Meghan equal progressivism, disruption, and controversy. This contrast captivates public emotion, but it conceals a deeper unity of purpose. The chaos of Harry and Meghan and the stability of William and Catherine are two poles of the same operation, rebranding the monarchy as a transnational soft power institution aligned with Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030, the UN Framework for Sustainable Development, Global Governance, and Technocratic Restructuring of National Sovereignty. The Royals, now its cultural ambassadors. William's Earthshot Prize equals Global Venture Competition for Climate Innovation. Harry's Travelist, carbon scoring for sustainable tourism. Both are ESG aligned and backed by global corporations. Both were a part of the Megxit implementation. These initiatives serve one purpose: to normalize the commercial arms of global governance under the guise of philanthropy. Royals become statesmen in the climate economy. Saturating the media with drama of chaos, Harry and Meghan fuels emotional distraction. Meanwhile, William and Catherine are rolled out as saviours, stable, moral, and there's always one, dynastically secure. Four effects of this narrative theatre: manufactured crisis and redemption, image reset via contrast, distraction from monarchy's power, and legitimation of global royal diplomacy. Harry's memoir Spare, Netflix series Archetypes podcast, and Meghan's failed ventures equals perpetual spectacle, like as ever. William's family portraits, appearances, and earthshot equals curated reassurance. The end result: a monarchy no longer bound to the UK's constitution, but repositioned as a moral authority in the post-nation global order. Royals now operate in a para-diplomatic role, engaging with corporations, NGOs, and global institutions to forward Agenda 2030 policy through emotional legitimacy and media symbolism. It's not the breakdown of monarchy, but its evolution into a new form, a dynastic soft power network embedded in the machinery of global governance. Harry and William are not rivals, they are functionally aligned, and as I said, they are one of the same. Conclusion: the royal chaos versus order narrative is a PR illusion. It keeps the public emotionally engaged while normalizing the monarchy's transformation into a transnational post-political entity advancing a globalist agenda. Thank you.